The war had long since stopped making sense. Lines blurred, loyalties shifted, and alliances that once seemed impossible began to whisper in the dark. Somewhere between the wrecked factories of Donetsk and the frozen fields of Mykolaiv, a convoy was said to be coming. A Chinese convoy, worth over $1.4 billion, loaded with what both sides claimed to be humanitarian aid. But everyone on the ground knew that wasn't the full story. This is the tale of how Ukraine waited for that convoy, and then erased it beneath the fog. Chapter 1. The rumor that started the storm. It began, as most dangerous things do, with a whisper. In early spring, Ukrainian intelligence intercepted coded transmissions bouncing between Beijing and Moscow. The messages referred to something called Operation Silkveil. The chatter hinted at shipments of heavy industrial equipment, drones, and possibly encrypted communication systems hidden inside containers labeled medical machinery. To the world, it looked like China was extending a neutral hand, helping rebuild war-damaged regions. But to the Ukrainians who'd spent months sifting through wreckage and deception, it looked like something else, a lifeline to Moscow. At first, the story was dismissed in Kyiv as propaganda. China had played careful politics throughout the conflict, balancing trade interests with both Russia and the West. But when a satellite photo appeared showing a 40-kilometer convoy crossing Kazakhstan toward Russian territory, alarm bells went off inside Ukraine's military intelligence headquarters. The convoy's estimated worth, $1.4 billion. Its destination, uncertain. Its purpose, even more so. One senior officer, known only by his call sign Falcon, was assigned to track it. If that convoy reaches its endpoint, Falcon said quietly, tracing its projected route across the map, our cities will burn again by summer. Chapter 2. The Watchers in the Mist. For weeks, the convoy moved westward like a ghost. Satellite feeds showed hundreds of trucks, some military, others disguised under the logos of civilian transport companies. The Chinese maintained radio silence, their drivers trained not to use personal phones, their trucks fitted with anti-surveillance devices. But the Ukrainians were patient. They had learned patience the hard way, in trenches, in freezing mud, under skies that never stopped screaming. By mid-April, reports placed the convoy entering southern Russia, heading toward the occupied corridor near Mariupol. That's when Falcon's unit, a hybrid task force of cyber operators, partisans, and long-range artillery scouts, began preparing Operation Mirror Fog. The plan wasn't to intercept it directly. That would be suicide. Instead, they would let it come close enough that the world would think it arrived safely, and then erase it from existence without leaving fingerprints. Chapter 3. The Bait. To make the trap work, Ukraine needed something the convoy wanted, a handover zone. Kyiv's intelligence service crafted fake communications between supposed pro-Russian officials in Zaporizhia and their Chinese counterparts. The forged messages detailed a temporary logistics base near the village of Kalinivka, not far from the Dnipro River. To make it convincing, they even built it. Crumbling warehouses were refitted overnight. Ukrainian actors posing as separatist soldiers recorded welcome videos in Russian, and thermal decoys were installed to make it appear bustling with machinery and people. Every satellite and drone watching from above would confirm the illusion. And as predicted, 2 weeks later, the convoy changed its route, turning south toward Kalinivka. Falcon knew then that the hook was in. Once they crossed the Dnipro, he told his team, "There's no going back. We make the fog, we pull the trigger, and we bury the truth." Chapter 4. The Day the Sky Vanished. The operation began at 3:17 a.m. A cold front from the Black Sea rolled across the steppe, thick with moisture and wind. Ukrainian meteorologists had predicted perfect conditions: zero visibility, dense fog, and total radar interference for at least 6 hours. Using mobile weather modulators, equipment rumored to have been smuggled in from Western labs, Falcon's team amplified the natural fog, pumping it along the convoy's path. Within minutes, the entire valley vanished behind a pale curtain. To outsiders, it was just weather. To those who knew, it was a shroud. At 4:05 a.m., the first trucks rolled into the mist. Chinese drivers, following GPS beacons, couldn't see more than 3 meters ahead. They slowed, headlights piercing only shapes. The radio crackled with anxious Mandarin chatter. And then, silence. Somewhere beyond their line of sight, the road had been mined. And when the first axle hit the trigger, the fog exploded with orange light. The sound was muffled, the smoke devoured by mist. Drones high above could only see flashes, nothing distinct, nothing certain. Within 40 minutes, the entire first column was gone. 32 vehicles, obliterated, scattered, erased. Chapter 5, Echoes in the Static. The survivors never saw who hit them. Ukrainian special units, wearing no insignia, moved like phantoms. They used thermal vision, silenced weapons, and portable jammers that killed every signal. When Chinese security contractors tried to send distress calls, their transmissions dissolved into static. By sunrise, the convoy's tail section, nearly 200 trucks still waiting north of the fog, had stopped completely, unsure what was happening ahead. Then came the second wave. A swarm of modified agricultural drones, disguised as crop sprayers, descended from the clouds. Each carried a small, shaped explosive, barely the size of a soda can, but lethal when dropped precisely. One by one, trucks began bursting into fireballs, their cargo igniting in flashes of magnesium-white flame. Within hours, the billion-dollar convoy had turned into molten wreckage. And as the fog began to thin, Falcon gave the order, "Pull back." By the time Russian rescue units arrived, there was nothing left but twisted steel and a vapor trail that led nowhere. Chapter 6, The Silence Agreement. The news broke late the next day. Russian state media first blamed a NATO strike. Chinese media called it a logistical accident. Kiev said nothing at all, and that silence was the most suspicious thing of all. In Beijing, panic rippled quietly through diplomatic channels. The destroyed cargo had not just been industrial equipment. Intelligence analysts later speculated it contained prototype drone engines, encrypted radio arrays, and next-generation radar components, items China could deny supplying, but whose loss would sting deeply. The Chinese government demanded an investigation, but no evidence was ever found. Satellite images showed nothing conclusive. The fog had erased it all. One Western diplomat described the whole event as a masterclass in deniable warfare. They didn't just destroy the convoy, he said. They destroyed the story. Chapter 7, The Man in the Photograph. Weeks later, an image began circulating on encrypted channels. It showed a Ukrainian soldier, his face obscured by the mist, standing in front of a burning container truck. The photo was grainy, half washed out, but someone had captioned it, "Falcon, Guardian of the Fog." No one knew who leaked it. The government denied his existence. Western allies stayed quiet. But among soldiers on the front, the story spread like wildfire. The man who tricked the dragon and vanished into the mist. They said Falcon's team received no official recognition. The operation never appeared in records, never earned medals, never existed on paper. And yet, every time a new supply line emerged from the east, the rumor returned. The fog is coming again.